All right, settle in. This debriefing is for an ongoing and, frankly, a very strange case file. Channels are secure, so let's get right into it. We're talking about anomaly SCP-008-J. So the item number is SCP-008-J. And you should know this one's on a probationary basis. Basically, we're waiting for solid proof that it's actually an anomaly. Proof that, so far, Commander Price has had a really hard time delivering. Object class is Euclid. Now you know what that means. It's something we don't fully understand, something unpredictable. But for SCP-008-J, unpredictable doesn't even begin to cover it. It's a massive understatement.
And just to give you a taste of what we're dealing with, here's a direct quote from Commander Price. This pretty much sums up the entire problem, and, well, it also gives you a little window into the commander's mindset after dealing with this thing.
Okay, let's get into the formal case file overview. I have to say, this subject is, without a doubt, one of the most uniquely frustrating things the Foundation has ever tried to document. And containing it? Forget about it. So, what is this thing? Officially, we call it a probabilistic anomaly. In plain English, that means it weaponizes coincidence. See, everything that happens around this anomaly is technically possible, but it's so unlikely that it stretches the laws of probability to the absolute breaking point. You can explain away any single event, sure, but when you look at the whole pattern, there's no way it's just random chance. So let's talk about the subject at the center of this storm of pure dumb luck. It's a single guy. We just call him Geoff. And just look at his profile. He's 23 years old. His job changes, but he's usually an electrician or something similar. People say he's friendly, maybe a little clueless. I mean, on paper, this guy is the most boring, non-threatening person you could possibly meet. But in reality, he's a walking, smiling containment breach. This chart really just hits the nail on the head. You know, when we see Euclid, we're thinking reality benders, psychic attacks, real dangerous stuff. But what do we get with Geoff? He gets lost looking for the bathroom. He has a perfectly reasonable excuse for being in a top-secret lab. He tries to friend you on Facebook. The gap between what we expect and what we get is, well, it's hilarious and it's terrifying. Okay, let's get into the actual incidents. Now, Geoff has popped up in a few places, but every single official report has one thing in common. One statistically impossible constant. And that is Commander Price. The file actually notes this is probably, and I'm quoting here, just another coincidence. Yeah, right. So the first time they officially meet, we're running an op out of a front company, a florist of all things. A completely different anomaly is having a minor breach, but it's still a high-stakes, tense situation. Standard procedure. Commander Price is on site. He's in charge, running the teams. The situation is critical. Everyone is on edge, focused on the actual threat they're supposed to be containing. And then, in walks Geoff. Turns out, he's the electrician. He was just hired to fix the lights. And because the shop was empty during the breach, he just strolled right into the middle of a hot zone. Past 3 secure ID readers, by the way. All right, incident number 2. The stakes get even higher this time. We're at a different front, a carpentry shop. But this time, it's not one of our own anomalies. It's the Chaos Insurgency. They're inside and they're about to steal critical data. And guess who's in charge again? Commander Price. He's ordered a total lockdown, cut the power to most of the facility. The whole situation is going sideways as he's desperately trying to stop this data leak. And right on cue, who shows up? Geoff. Apparently, he just asked to use the bathroom, took a wrong turn, and walked right through a door whose lock had been blown off by the insurgency agent seconds earlier. And what's the first thing he says? He recognizes Price from the flower shop. Which brings us to the third incident. And this one is just on another level. You've got an ancient, deep-sea monster waking up after millennia. So who do you call? Commander Price, of course. He's got the naval experience. We transfer him to a deep-sea base, thousands of meters under the ocean, to lead the fight. So picture this. Price is at the command console. He's in his element, coordinating a massive battle against this huge creature. We're talking about the fate of the entire East Coast hanging in the balance. And somehow, and the file literally just says his arrival method is unknown, somehow, Geoff appears on the command deck in a submarine. 3,000 meters down, he's holding his phone, looking lost, and asking for directions to a street on the surface. Now you understand the quote we started with. So, naturally, this leads to the big question. How in the world do you contain something like this? Well, the last section of the file is basically a comedy of errors, just documenting every single failed attempt to keep this guy in one place. Let's just run through the highlight reel, shall we? We tried putting an agent on him 24/7. The agent had a fatal aneurysm. We had a hostage situation with the Chaos Insurgency. And the local cop showed up and arrested Commander Price, letting Geoff just wander off. And my favorite, they stick him in an escape pod on the deep sea base. The sea monster attacks, which causes the pod to launch by itself, and it perfectly dodges 17 giant tentacles on its way to the surface. You can't make this stuff up. So after all that, we assume he's gone. Lost at sea, probably dead. Case closed, right? Nope. 2 days later, Commander Price gets a Facebook friend request from Geoff with this message. And yes, the file specifically notes the smiley face emoticon.
So we get to the end of the file and we have 0 real answers. Is it just a probabilistic anomaly, or is there something more going on? Is Geoff just playing dumb, or is he some kind of reality bender who is so powerful he just makes his own luck? Or is the universe itself just twisting and turning to make sure Geoff gets to where he needs to be?
And the file ends with this really unsettling thought. It brings up SCP-2000, our big reset button for humanity, and it asks, if we had to use it, if we had to restart the whole world, would a new Commander Price wake up in that facility, only to hear a familiar voice from behind him say, "Hey, fancy meeting you here"? The case file, for now, remains very much open.